What's going on, my people? It's 6 a.m. in the morning right now. We got some absolutely breaking news that has to tie in to Jon Jones' retirement, my friends. He's been allegedly involved in another hit and run. Let me start from the beginning. If you didn't know, yesterday, after UFC Baku, Azerbaijan, Dana White came out at the post-press conference and announced that he had talked to Jon Jones the night before, and Jon has officially announced his retirement, my friends. Also, that Tom Aspinall has been elevated to your undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, which is great news. Being, he was the interim champion who's been calling out Jon for a long time. Dana was promising that this fight would happen. It doesn't happen. Jon just announced his retirement and everybody is shocked, right? But you guys, it doesn't come without drama. I guess allegedly Jon Jones in February was involved in another hit and run. This is what the reports say. As a police officer shows up to this several car collisions, he comes to a vehicle where there is a woman inside of this vehicle with no clothes on, only her top piece, my friends. Supposedly, she says Jon Jones was driving the vehicle. They had just finished being at Jon Jones's house, partying, drinking, taking shrooms. The last thing that she remembers was that she had asked to change her clothes as Jon Jones. And then the next thing that she remembers is she's involved in this car crash and Jon Jones walks away from it. I guess they get into a car crash and Jon Jones starts to freak out. Like I said, they're drinking and they're on shrooms. And as you guys know, Jon Jones has had many DUIs, many DWIs, my friends, right? Supposedly, he takes off. He gets out of the car, and he goes running wherever he goes, my friends. Hey, she tells the police that Jon Jones was the one who was driving the vehicle. They talk to him. They don't know if they're talking to Jon Jones. Reportedly, she gives the phone to the police officers to speak to a man that was the driver of the vehicle, but we are not sure. But what we do know is Jon Jones was hanging out with this girl, because he hasn't came out and said that it wasn't her, it wasn't him who was hanging out with the girl. He says that he wasn't driving that vehicle and that woman is lying, my friends. But there's a bunch of missed calls. I guess supposedly Jon Jones called her about 20 times that same night and also leaving a bunch of messages, my friends. Now, I don't know if he was freaking out or what, but that happened back in February, right? It was another hit and run that kind of got swept under the cover. I didn't even hear about this. Now that he is officially retired, there's a girl out there that's claiming, and the charges have been filed. He is going to be going to court for this in July, my people. It's a misdemeanor, not a felony, but supposedly, he was driving this vehicle with this female who had no clothes on. They get into a car crash. He doesn't want to get in trouble, so he flees the accident, my people. She's claiming that he was driving the vehicle. She claims that they were at their house taking shrooms and drinking beer together, my people. I do not know what is happening with that, and I don't know if this has to tie in to Jon Jones's retirement. But if it does, god damn. I mean, Jon, the end of your career, is always going to be remembered with this fight with Tom Aspinall. I mean, I would arguably say this is one of the greatest fights that ever could have came into fruition. Better than a Pacquiao and Mayweather in their prime. Because we all know that fight happened long after it should have happened. Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones is the greatest fight that we will never, ever get to see, my friends. I have a feeling that this retirement might just be bullcrap. But if it's not, I really, really hope Jon Jones figures out the situations that's going on in his life. And hey, that's some absolutely breaking news. I wonder if it has to tie into his retirement. My goodness, people, don't drink and drive. I'm out.